What's interesting about this exhibition is that it's a show of a contemporary artists of a contemporary moment. Like, so it's like my work and my work now, the last few years. The majority of the work comes from that moment. And then there's this look back through the history of where this work comes from. They can make these connections between where certain gestures come now from that past. And I think that that's a super interesting way of looking at a show that looks back at a time. For me, it's been really instructive to have that kind of experience. I haven't seen the paintings exhibited in a space with this amount of natural light. And there have been rooms that have come close, but in this space, the entire ceiling is basically open to natural light. And so the paintings are lit completely without any artificial light during the day, and that's incredible. And for these works, especially, I feel like light is one of the biggest challenges to showing my paintings and seeing the work. And in this situation, that's not an issue at all. And the works just completely glow and have their own kind of innate light coming from within, from being. So that's incredible. And then the scale of the rooms are also, they're very generous, and the way that this space operates, there's a lot of space for the paintings. And so 7 paintings in one space, and they're big paintings. They're 14 feet wide, 10 feet tall. To have that in one room where these paintings can come together with that type of dynamic is rare and kind of extraordinary. Each of these elements, architectural, color, drawing, mark making, surface, scale, all of these different elements that are part of the visual language that I'm working with, each have and can maintain a certain type of power of their own, but they also represent, and they have a lot of metaphoric and social representation and inherent in their visual language and their meaning. And I think that they're employed in that way in the work in different, to offer these kind of different kind of social, political readings of what the paintings are doing, or trying to do, or suggest, or invent. For me, drawing is the source of where all of this work that I make comes from. For me, drawing is like hugely essential and informative on so many levels. It's a way of thinking, breathing, working through things, processing, inventing, creating, and so it's a really kind of essential aspect of making for me. First, there was this political moment that felt very charged, but also where we had to invent something else. And so the gray ground gave this other sense of what could come from that. And there was something between the black mark and the gray ground and the suggestion of what could exist there that I was really interested in. I feel like things are very complicated right now, and it's hard to really have an understanding of what that means. Dynamics that are taking place that feel like they are cyclical or repetitive of past patterns, but I feel like it's a very, very different economic and political dynamic and moment taking place. It's not reminiscent of colonialism, it's not a form of socialism, it's not a form of neo-capitalism. There's something that we don't have the appropriate language for, and I think that are terrifying. The last book that I've read recently is a book called Autumn by Ali Smith, a British writer. And for me, there's an aspect of how she was writing that almost is about inventing the creative process as well, or dealing with that, and at the same time as kind of inventing this narrative and these characters, but the way she works with the language. And for me, it made me think a lot about how to give language to the process of making. And so that's been a really interesting aspect to think about.